The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Uh, okay. All right, Rob, can you hear me?
Yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
we're good to go.
All right, good. So this session is on how to become a speaker or how to submit a paper for SUGCON India 2019. On the calls, myself, Akshay Sura, and then Rob Erlam, who's joining us even though he's on vacation. So thank you, Rob, for joining us.
That's not a problem.
All right. So first, we wanted to go over a couple of things. One is SUGCON is organized mainly by the community, picking out the speakers, the sessions, and things of that sort. But we work in um, conjunction with Sitecore. Sitecore does support us a ton. Two other guys who support us from Sitecore are Peter and Rob, along with Himanshu, Gurleen, Gaurav, Faye, and bunch of other people who help us out trying to get this event running. So we held the first SUGCON India early this year. It was a day and a half on May 16th and 17th in Bangalore. There were over 200 people who attended the event. Even though it was the first event, the whole room was pretty full. We had 16 speakers with a bunch of sessions, so that was very productive. We got good feedback from everyone on it. Um, so what is SUGCON? So SUGCON is Sitecore User Group Conference. It's technically something similar to a user group which you have in each of the cities, just on a bigger scale. So typically we've done a SUGCON for North America. SUGCON Europe has been going on for a bunch of years, every year. It keeps growing. It's going to be up to 600 this year, but it's a bigger conference organized by the community with help from Sitecore. The main purpose of it is to share the knowledge. So whatever you're currently using, there are speakers from all over the place coming in, sharing their knowledge. And you could take that knowledge right back and apply it to one of the projects you're working on. It's also a good way to be part of the community, meet people in person. We work in such a online digital world that we don't often mingle with people online. I mean, there's Slack and there's Skype calls and all of that fun stuff, but physically we never meet people. But these are like the conferences are a really good way to meet people from different parts of the world. Um, and it's also this specific conference, so SUGCON India is meant for the Southeast Asia region. So if you're in that region, this would be a good conference for you to attend in proximity in terms of travel, as well as relevance. So SUGCON India 2019, which is going to be next year. Again, it's going to be a 1.5-day conference held again on May 16th and 17th in Bangalore. This is going to be on a Thursday and a Friday. This year, we're expecting 400 and above. Last year, we got some amazing feedback from people. People weren't quite sure if it was going to end up happening or not. So they were hesitant in registering more people from their companies, but they were mentioning that, hey, if you were to do it next year and keep it consistent, that we could bring 30 people from our company and things like that. So I'm hoping that this shows the commitment Sitecore and the community has to keep this conference going. Venue has not been announced yet. It's going to be announced within the next 10 days. And hopefully it is going to be in Bangalore and in the center of Bangalore. So it shouldn't be much different than it was last year. The call for papers is actually open as of now, and we will talk through some of the things to help you guys understand it a little bit better, at the whole process and things like that. So, what does a speaker need to present at SUGCON India? So, one of the things we look for is someone who's had experience speaking at events or at user groups or at conferences. The main reason being is that um, take like last year that you had to stand in front of 200 people giving a presentation, which is can be quite intimidating. So we need previous experience, which would really help. All presentations are in English. You don't have to be an MVP to present. It is not a requirement whatsoever. So anyone can present as long as you have previous experience presenting. The one thing we do require though is that we don't want any self promotions of the companies or the products of the companies you work for or a service. So this is purely about SUGCONs are usually purely about sharing your knowledge about something you accomplished or something you have figured out or something you worked on, which might help other people. So depending on the topic, yeah, we would like you to share your knowledge and help other people solve their problems. Um, so Rob ran a poll not so long ago. We got quite a few, over 100 responses. From there, these were the ones which stood out as the popular topics. You could submit your paper on any of these, so like Commerce, SXA, Cortex, Marketing Automation. There's a ton to do on marketing automation. JSS seems to be a top, very hot topic as well. DevOps, Universal Trackers, new, EXM. But if you think of anything else in the Sitecore realm, please do submit a paper. It doesn't have to be just these topics, but these came out to be the few topics which were pretty popular in the poll. So submitting your papers. So submitting your papers, it is currently open on SUGCON India website. So call for papers. You go out there, you can submit your the speaker form with all the details. The one thing which I would really encourage you to do is there is a summary field which asks you about what is this presentation about. Please take time filling it out, because the more information you give us, the better the panel can judge you in terms of, hey, this is a quality presentation, let's put it forward. So take some time. We've had submissions sometimes with just one line or one sentence, and it's not enough, and there's too much back and forth. So when you submit your call for paper, make sure you fill in all the information you can. Put in as much as you possibly can in the summary field to explain exactly what you're trying to accomplish. If you need any help, if you need some clarification, you can always reach out to Rob and I. We're available on Slack, we're available on Twitter and LinkedIn, so just reach out to us, ask the questions, and we are more than happy to answer your questions on anything related to SUGCON or anything related to submitting a paper. And again, your talk cannot promote a product or a service from your company. So don't, hey, this is what we have, a module and things like that. So, but, generic to Sitecore and its ecosystem, you're more than welcome to submit anything you like on it. So let me just really quick. So call for papers is on the SUGCON site right there. So call for papers, and in the call for papers, we have a button for submit paper. This is the form I was talking about. So pretty much everything you can. Fill it as much as you can with as much information as you possibly can. This was the summary field I was talking about, which is super important if you can fill that as much as possible. And I think that's pretty much all I have. I know it's kind of short, but we cut right through it, explained everything we possibly could. Um, Rob, do you have anything else to add on top of it?
I think that covers everything from that you've gone over most things. Yeah, I'd just like to say that the event was really superb last year, and I think we could probably say this: we actually managed to plan and deliver it on quite a tight time frame. Um,
Yeah.
so this time, being a lot more prepared, I'm really hoping for big things.
Yes. All right. So questions. So if you have any questions, I think there should be a panel on yours where you can ask, submit your questions,
Yeah, we've got a
and
couple
then
coming
we will.
through.
Okay, and we'll
So,
be more than happy to answer your questions.
so the first one is: can the session be at the beginner level, or should they all be advanced?
So um, we have a selection on the form where you can specify beginner, intermediate, advanced. So at this point, I don't think we're looking for anything specific that they have to be beginner level. They could be any level. You could submit multiple papers if you like. They could be various levels from beginner all the way to advanced.
Okay. The next one is: is it really necessary to have prior presentation experience?
Uh, I'll let you take that one, Rob. I'll give my opinion. Yes, I think it would help. I mean, you can still submit a paper if you do not have previous presenting experience, but I think, in my opinion, knowing that, this was my first year trying to present at user groups, and it was a big hurdle for me to get out that first couple of sessions out there. Knowing that, I think it would be helpful if you have previous experience. But I'll leave that up to the whole people, the panel of people who are going to judge your application. So I would say go ahead and put it in anyways, but it would help if you have experience.
Yeah, I'd agree with Akshay there. I think, as he mentioned before, it's a reasonably large audience. There's 200 people last year, and we're aiming for more this year. So I think having prior experience, not necessarily maybe presenting in front of that many people, but certainly having delivered sessions on various different topics, definitely that experience can set you in a good stead for something like this. Um, So the next question we have is: when should we submit the presentation slides for verification?
So we haven't defined the deadline yet for that. January 31st is the deadline for the paper submission at this moment in time. So once that's done, the speakers are selected, we'll set the deadlines for reviews at proper intervals, thinking that it's in May and we will be done accepting papers by the end of Jan. I think we pretty much have like 2 to 3 months anyways, so we can spread that apart so you guys have some time to submit your papers during that time. Sorry, not submit your papers, submit your decks during that time, and you can refine it over the next few months. So we haven't defined that yet, but I think we have plenty of time this year so that we can spread it across.
Okay, so the next one is: are there any benefits for speakers? For example, free entry to the event.
Yes, so on the form itself, we have mentioned it. So we can't, and similar to last year, we can't sponsor flights or stay or anything like that, but we do offer free conference entry. So I don't remember what the pricing was last year, but you get free conference entry as part of the speaker. You have to we go through this every year, so I'm going to say it anyways. SUGCONs are mainly meant for a developer audience. They're not meant for like symposium, it's not an event where you have all kinds of people on there, and there's not a lot of budget to run these. So we have to net try to be at least zero or above. There's no money being made here. It's all almost like a non-profit kind of thing. So there isn't enough room in the budget for us to sponsor flights or stay or anything like that. But obviously the conference ticket is something easy to do. So the speakers would have free conference entry. They don't have to pay for that.
Okay. Can one person submit more than one entry? So submit multiple papers?
Yeah, you can. So I don't think we have any limit for that. If you have a bunch of valid topics, and remember that it might be easy to just say, ASIC say this and just type in one sentence and submit it. But the quality of the submission makes a huge difference. So yeah, submit 5 if you like, but make sure you have a proper title and a good amount of summary explaining what it is that you will showcase in your presentation. Remember that there's others submitting as well. So say if you're trying to do something on commerce, if you have something generic saying, I'm going to show you how to install commerce in 10 minutes, there might be other people who are submitting similar papers. So you need to differentiate yourself from others as to how, and maybe something you have to give some specific details in your summaries. But to answer your question, yes, you can submit more than one paper.
Okay. The next one we have is, what duration will each of the sessions be?
So I think last year we did like 45 minutes. Most likely we haven't gotten into scheduling yet. The venue is getting finalized. We have to get into the details of the day, when the day is going to start on the first day, and when can it end, and we have to fit in the dinner and things like that in between. So right now we don't have a definitive answer, but based on last year, I think it's most likely going to be 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's about right. And so in that time, just to expand on that, you're probably going to be looking at, tell me if you agree with this, actually, maybe 30 to 35 minutes content for your session, and then leading for 10 minutes Q&A at the end.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, the next one is, when will we know whether our papers have been selected or not?
I think probably by mid February, yeah, you should know if your papers have been selected or not.
Okay, will the sessions be recorded?
That's a good question. Everyone keeps asking that all the time. The easy answer is no. It's always best to assume that the sessions are not going to be recorded. There will be some photography and maybe some video for purposes for client and partner development for Sitecore. And the photos, obviously last year too, we shared a bunch of pictures which were taken during the 2 days, but there won't be any video taken specifically to record the content of each of the sessions.
Okay, the next question is around SiteCore 9 certification. I think I can take this one. The question was whether there will be a certification exam and what will be the cost of it. So we're working with our internal training team to arrange SiteCore 9 certification, the same as we had this year. We don't have the exact details around that yet, so we don't know how much that's going to cost. There will be a fee on top of the event ticket, but we don't know how much that's going to be yet. So we'll announce it once that's been decided. The next question is, should all of the presentations contain live demos?
Not necessarily. So it could be an informational session. You could have demos which are pre-recorded, because I I for one know that it is kind of scary to do live demos because the demo gods are not usually your friends on such situations. So you could do live demo if you like, you could have pre-recorded demo if you like, or your presentation might not need any demos to begin with. You probably have some information and screenshots to share. It truly depends, but it's not mandatory that you have a live demo.
Okay, and do we know how many sessions there will be?
It would probably be similar to last year. I think it would probably be between 16 to 20 sessions, I would imagine. We do, we are planning on something with like a main room, and then the main room gets split into three, and then we have sessions, and then the second day, things like that. But again, it'd be really hard to finalize on that. That's why we kind of take a little bit of time. Hopefully by mid-January, we would have an idea as to the structure of the sessions we can do and things like that. But I would imagine something similar to last year.
So next one we have is, can we request a temporary license from Sitecore in case we don't have one for the presentation? I can cover that one.
Sure.
So we don't have the facility to issue a temporary license specifically for this event. However, there is the Sitecore Developer Trial Program, which we opened this year. That allows you to request a 60-day license. You can go through, and that gives you full access to the platform to be able to develop and test this out. Well, that'll be the only way that you can get a temporary license for this. So the next one is the last year, a few of the sessions were scheduled for a full audience, while some were in the breakout sessions. How's it decided who gets to do in front of everyone and who gets to present in a breakout?
That's a good question. It depends on the topic, I think, and the general feeling of how popular a specific topic is. There's, I think, I don't remember last year if we had a specific criteria in the sense, oh no, this guy is gonna go here, that person's gonna go over there. It was mainly depending on topic. So everything at a SUGCON should always be based on the topic at question. Doesn't matter who's presenting it. It's mainly what is the topic, what is it going to cover, and how much of the attendees do we think it benefits. So it's not one person making the decision. Most of the time when you're trying to decide on the speakers, it's more than two people trying to figure out what the best thing to do is. So hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, so the next one is, what equipment do I need to bring along to present? Is it just my computer, or do I need to bring anything else?
So it's a good question too. Yes, you need to obviously bring your laptop with you and charger for the laptop. The other thing I like to mention is the conference facilities at whichever the venue is going to be, they do have Wi-Fi, but knowing from attending a bunch of conferences by yourself or from my experience, it's never the greatest. So if you are planning on doing a live demo, and if your live demo does need internet access, I strongly suggest you bring a phone or like a MiFi device which has, tethering capability for a hotspot, so that you can utilize that just in case if the conference Wi-Fi isn't doing great. But yeah, we would need you to provide your own laptop in order for you to present. If your laptop, most likely, all the latest laptops should have either a HDMI port, or they should have a dongle which converts to an HDMI port. As long as you have that, it shouldn't be that difficult. If you have a machine which needs something else, then we would have to work it out with the AV guys. But most likely, if you have a laptop which needs a dongle, you will have the dongle as well.
Okay, so the next one is it's kind of two questions in one, I think. What if two or more people submit a paper on the same topic? How will it be decided between the two? And also, can multiple people present the same topic together? So could you have co-presenters?
Yeah, you could have one other co-presenter. So you could only have two people present in one presentation. So you could not more than that because it kind of gets difficult. The first question was, what if more than one person submits a paper on the same topic? And that's what we were trying to discuss earlier is you have to put in some effort in your submission to differentiate yourself from someone else because it's very likely that there will be more than one submission from two different people uh, talking about a topic in general, but you need to differentiate yourself. So you need to provide information in the summary field as to what you'll be providing and how it is different from whoever else who's going to be submitting. So when we look at the submission papers and if two people are submitted it on the same exact topic, then we would look through, um, you know, how is this person going to present? What is it in the summary field? What is it? What is it exactly that this person is going to present as compared to the other person? Maybe one person has given a lot more detail or is presenting on other aspects of that topic as opposed to the other person. So it truly depends on the quality of your submission.
Okay, so the next one is, do we need to bring our own dongles? For example, should we be carrying a VGA to HDMI connector?
If your laptop needs it, I would strongly suggest you do because the AV guys might not carry that.
Okay, can we submit a panel discussion instead of a standard type session?
I think that would work. I mean, I think we're willing to entertain that if it's a topic which is very, needed for the community, and we feel like there is some interest in it. So just to kind of give you an idea, everyone who will be looking at these um, submissions are all part of the community as well. So they kind of have their fingers on the pulse of the community. So they can easily judge if something which was submitted is, hey, this is a well needed presentation, or no, this doesn't sound right from what I've, because each of the people have attended multiple conferences, multiple user groups, are part of many things. So sure, I mean, if you have an idea of a panel which will benefit the people attending, absolutely submit that.
Okay, so that's all the questions we've been asked so far.
Okay,
If you've got any other questions, then we'll maybe give it another minute or so just for people to get their last minute ones in.
sure. And the other thing I want to say is that we want to, so we arranged it on this day and this time specifically after we sent out a poll, and quite a few people responded to this. And unfortunately, there's not that many people on the webinar. We will put up this video on the SUGCON India site. Hopefully, a lot more people can watch it. Uh, since a good number of people missed it. What I would like to encourage though is that we want whoever's watching this video, whoever's on this webinar, to encourage other people to submit apart from themselves. So if you are interested in submitting, please do try to encourage your coworkers. We want to see a lot of submissions, a good amount of choice. We want people to come up and present, make their name for themselves. So there is no uh, we want it to be diverse. We want it to be as open as possible. So we don't really concentrate on the name of the person who's submitting it. It's more of what is the topic, how much would it benefit the audience coming through. So just go ahead, encourage your coworkers, your friends, whoever it is who's relevant to Sitecore to submit papers.
Okay, so I think we've had one more question sneak in, which is very important. Will there be a speaker dinner?
Will there be a speaker dinner? It wasn't last year. I don't know the answer to that. I think one of the things is the budget, which we have to think about. Would be nice though, like to get together with um, all the speakers ahead of the conference. Might not. I don't. Well, that would mean that you would have to come the day before. So in this case, you would have to be there Wednesday evening. It might be something which, depending on the budget and stuff, we could look into, but I don't control the budget. Rob and I can pass the message up
Yeah.
and see how that goes.
Okay, we have a couple more coming in. Can we get an invitation letter to showcase to our company for sponsorship or participants?
Yes. So we will. I'm assuming they're saying like the sponsorship package is what the person's asking for based on the question. But yes, we would. They are finalizing the sponsorship packages at this moment. If you are interested, there's a contact us form on the SUGCON India website. Fill that form, specify that you're interested in sponsoring, and what we can do is we can send it to the appropriate person who will send you the sponsorship package, as well as answer any questions you have in terms of invoicing or any other sponsorship related questions. So please do go ahead and submit a contact us form on SUGCON India website if you're interested in sponsoring.
Okay, I think that covers all of them then, mate.
Awesome. All right. Thanks again, Rob, for taking your time from your vacation to be on here. Thank you for everyone who made the time to be here. And hopefully there'll be a good number of people who'll watch this video, and hopefully we'll get quite a few submissions for an awesome SUGCON India 2019. Anything else, Rob, from your end?
I think that covers everything from me.
All right, awesome. Have a good rest of your day, good evening, good rest of your weekend. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you. And, the call for papers is live on the SUGCON India website right now. All right, bye, guys.
Cheers. Bye.